Hey there, Drew Rebar, auditing Reno 911 with retired highway patrol trooper, sheriff, chief of police, and now the government doesn't like it. So, that thin blue line there, back the blue till it comes for you, right? So this is Stewart Handte, and I'm Drew Rebar. And we're going to talk about, let's see, the guy behind me right here, this guy right here. We're going to talk about him. That's the guy named Amos Stege. And Amos, he works for the Washoe County District Attorney's Office. What do you think of Mr. Stege, Stu?
I think he is corrupt, and I think he is a bully, and I think he has no business being in this position. But he probably was put in there by Mr. Hicks for some specific purpose, to strike fear and intimidation into people, to bully them whenever he feels necessary, which he did to you in the elevator. And he's a thug, okay? I've encountered my fair share of attorneys in the 30 years I did law enforcement. And I have to say that there are a cadre of them out there that are decent. But for the most part, for no good. I mean, look at the guy in the Washoe County District Attorney's Office, Ching, that got caught with his pants down, literally at the Peppermill Casino. I mean, my God, who's screening these people? We just found out recently on Mr. Stege. Kenneth Ching.
Yeah, just so everybody knows.
Recently, Mr. Stege.
Oh, keep going. Sorry about that.
We found out recently through the state of Mexico that Mr. Stege was a defendant in a named case in New Mexico. We're going to dig into the background of that, some sort of water rights case. So same thing with when we start digging into the backgrounds of these unscrupulous law enforcement officers, attorneys, and judges. We are very capable of digging into stuff. We have people that are very good at it. I'm not too bad myself. And so when you piss off these people and you go after these people, Drew, like they've gone after you, almost killed you in the car, you're going to draw the attention of people who are sick and tired of the corruption. And it's unbelievable. It's just absolutely mind-boggling. And people say, oh, no, you're guilty. You did this, you did that. These people, these gaslighters, have no clue what took place back in 2019. They have no clue. They listened to the local media. They listened to the testimony on the stand by the cops that lied, and they made up their own conclusions without looking into the evidence, which we have, and which we'll use somewhere down the road at our point in time. So, hey,
did you see that? Amos. But speaking about corruption at the DA's office with Amos Stege, and we'll tell everybody what Amos did here in just a few minutes. But you saw the one with, let's see here if I can show it. This guy right here, where Washoe County fired one of their deputy district attorneys because of what he put up on YouTube and stuff. Did you see that guy?
I have not been privy to that. You might want to enlighten me what took place there, Drew. I haven't seen that recently.
Let me bring that one back up here. So what happened is this guy right here, he was an attorney for the Washoe County District Attorney for a long time, and he was posting things with weapons, about relationships, and so the Washoe County District Attorney's Office deemed him to be let's see, what does it say down here? Made aware of Aziz Merchant, so that's the guy's name, social media posts November 10th, and he was terminated at that time. So the same day they found out about his posts that he puts on social media is the same day they fire him. And basically he's just putting stuff up there that's, Second Amendment, First Amendment, being able to speak and voice his opinions. And evidently they did not like what his opinions were, so they canned his happy ass. That's kind of interesting.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. First of all, you have an incompetent what do I want to say here? I'm going to use the right verbiage because they'll probably come after me for using verbiage again. I don't really care. Incompetent, uneducated, put in his place by those in the cabal, Mr. Christopher Hicks, who allows these type of people to be there. Now, when I was a state trooper, we had some decent deputy district attorneys, some of which now are district court judges. I just gonna leave that there for now. Some of which have gone on to very successful, lucrative private practice careers. So as time went by and the leadership within that district attorney's office fell apart, now you have a district attorney, and I'll speak against the one that was before him, both dirty, both corrupt, they just don't really care. And Christopher Hicks doesn't really care. He doesn't care about anybody out there. He says he does, but he doesn't. He's just put in that place because King Richard Gammack, abdicated the throne to him. Of course, Gammack and Dad, Larry Hicks, now deceased, were very close friends. It's all that little group of former district attorneys. You can go all the way back to Bill Raggio when this stuff started. That's back in the 70s. So when you have that no leadership in that role, very pivotal role, very important role as a district attorney of the county, you're going to have F-ups like a Kenneth Ching, like this guy you just showed, like an Amos Stege. Sorry, I'm using the name I call him because he gets to character assassinate me in court, and I don't get to say Jack, so I can character assassinate him. It's just mind-boggling to think that taxpayers can buy off of this garbage because they deserve so much better than what is taking place in that county in terms of the district attorney's office. So it's just, Drew, is just amazing. And everything that you have to do, or I have to do, or others have to do, it's a fight. Every single time you go up against the cabal, that's what I call them, you're in for a fight. And it may take you a long time to even get to a place where you feel comfortable that, okay, I did my best and it's time for me to move on. Or you keep fighting them. And I'm going to continue to fight them based on what took place within the last couple of months in my specific instance. So
they prosecuted you. Let's tell everybody what they prosecuted you for, though. So they brought you back to court and tell them what were the allegations that they did, and tell everybody what they couldn't prove.
Well, the allegations were that I had a technical violation of my conditions of probation, which the whole conditions of probation is predicated on an illegal forced plea agreement that both myself and former co-defendant Roger Hilligus were forced to sign. We either signed it, or I can tell you, had we gone to trial with an anonymous jury put forth by this illegal, invalid judge, Barry Breslow, we would have lost. We'd been remanded into custody, and that would have been the end of Roger and Stewart. It bears mentioning that when this thing all started back in 2019, the big deal about these two guys that kidnapped this elderly lady from assisted care facility, but they didn't really care about that because the following day they were more concerned about selling the house for the tune of $479,000 than they were about finding where Susan Hilligus was. So this is all based on money. So what happened was I have been putting up posts regularly on my social media platforms talking about the corruption that you and I have discussed on your podcast. The corruption is there. I don't care what people want to say that I'm a bad cop or whatever. I don't really care anymore at this point. I know what I did and I know what I haven't done. And so I've been vocal and speaking out against the dirty cops who lied on the stand and lied on police reports. You have evidence to show that. The dirty attorneys who didn't want to represent me or defend me properly. I went through 5 of them, one of which was paid a handsome amount of money to do 0. So ladies and gentlemen, listen to me when I say this tonight. Do not trust many attorneys out there, especially bar licensed ones. The problem is the bar, American Bar Association, state bars. Anyways, that's being said, and the judges. So you have a 3-headed hydra that basically forces you into a scenario, almost a no-win situation, because they know that most people out there cannot afford very high-priced attorneys. And, some of these attorneys say, well, I need 25 grand or I need 50 grand. Roger Hilligus's 2 attorneys want $100,000. Dead Dave Houston was one of them, and Steve Evenson was another. Joey Gilbert, another useless piece of garbage, want $100,000. Isn't that odd? 3 of them want $100,000. So if you don't have the money, Drew, you're up against a very formidable opponent in terms of the legal system. And you have cops in conjunction with attorneys in conjunction with judges that all work together to get a guilty plea out of you one way or the other. So with this report, I was speaking out, being vocal, speaking the facts, as I've done for the last 6 years. And they got pissed off. And so they brought me into a hearing, although they refused to acknowledge my ADA disability. I'm not going to discuss my medical condition over the public, but Amos Stege did in court, which is a HIPAA violation. The judge refused to acknowledge I had a disability and refused to give me accommodations, which is a federal law violation. He allowed Stege to bring up private medical information, which is against HIPAA. The report itself was full of lies, misinformation, inaccurate information, and embellishments put forth by the agency I used to work for, the Nevada Department of Public Safety, when it was the Nevada Highway Patrol. Now it's called the Nevada State Police. And they put this report together, and I looked at this report. I go, "Oh my God, this is ridiculous." I mean, it was unbelievable. And so I requested, because I live far away from Reno now, to appear remotely. Well, Judge Breslow denied, and I was assigned a good attorney. I have to say his name, Christopher Day. Christopher Day did a good job representing me in that hearing on the 22nd of October and the subsequent one on the 24th. So on the 24th, after the hearing on the 22nd, where I basically denied everything that was in this technical violation report, they set what's called an ANIA hearing. ANIA was a case based out of Nevada, state of Nevada, in 1980, about a probationer who was on probation for, I can't remember the crimes, and he got caught on another charge, which brought him back into court. So he was brought back into court. I can't remember all the particulars, but this ANIA hearing was based on his actual case. Mr. Day has done a number of ANIA hearings, and mine is the only one, he said. Yours is the only one that doesn't have an additional charge put forth on it, because there's no charges put forth in this technical violation report. What they wanted me to do, and what they still want me to do, is shut my mouth and not expose them for being corrupt, and not bring out the truths of the matter about the covered-up homicide of Susan Hilligus, and not bring up the fact that this is all driven by money in the court systems, in law enforcement, wherever you go, in the legal system per se. It's all driven by money and greed and power. It all goes hand in hand. So on the 24th of November, I was brought back into court. For the first time in 6 years, I was allowed to testify. And my roommate, I'm not going to name him, but he was there. You can see it on YouTube. He was the retired sheriff from Mendocino County. He was there 4 terms. He had a law enforcement career of 40 years. And when the judge asked him the question about what his question and his opinion about the hearing, he basically said, "I don't know why we're here, because in California, this wouldn't happen. I have been stellar on my probation, my, put forth probation upon me. Like I said, I didn't have a choice. And so in California, but these people in Nevada are dirty as the day is long. And they're dirty cops. I filed an internal affairs complaint. And just as matter of factly, prior to us coming on to this podcast, I got a response from Office of Professional Responsibility. Now, mind you, I already said that there are lies in the report. You lie in a police report, that's a Brady violation. Clear career gone. But here is the actual verbiage sent to me by this Cheryl Hawks, DPS Sergeant Investigator. Dear Mr. Handte, November 25th, 2025. An investigation into your complaint regarding Lieutenant Rosales and Specialist Serena, employees of the Department of Public Safety, Division of Parole and Probation, has been completed, although he told me it's going to take 3 to 4 months. Although personnel rules prohibit me from discussing our findings and or information about our employees, I can assure you this matter was properly investigated and addressed. Furthermore, I can assure you that any sustained allegations of misconduct will be addressed administratively for appropriate corrective action. Thank you for bringing this matter to our attention, as public input into the actions of our officers helps us to maintain professionalism in our department and provide the best service possible to our citizens and visitors. Please do not hesitate to contact me if you have any additional information, questions, or concerns. Sincerely, Cheryl Hawks. Okay.
What a line of shit.
Maintain professionalism. That's what a lot of shit. Maintaining professionalism. How can you justify maintaining professionalism when you have cops fabricating, falsifying, and official police reports. This report could have put me in jail or prison. And it was kind of nip and tuck there until we got to the point of where old Barry Breslow, the invalid judge that he is, had no choice but to say there was no violation committed by me for speaking about the truth, for putting up posts, for telling people that there are bad hombres out there in the legal system in Nevada specifically, and that if you piss them off, like you did to Deputy Bueno, something bad may happen to you, like hotbox in the backseat of a squad car, or taken down at gunpoint, or thrown in jail illegally. It's mind-boggling. And everybody out there is, not everybody, but there's a category of people out there that bash me and my former co-defendant, but they have no concept. They're a bunch of morons. They've never gone through any iota of what fact matter you or me or Roger has gone through when you go up against a corrupt legal system. So I survived this hearing. It was a waste of taxpayers' money, time, and resources. A complete waste. I don't know how much, but to be honest with you, it's unbelievable the lengths that these people will go after somebody who calls them out.
Think about this. So here's a news article that says man accused of kidnapping his mother gets probation. So does ex-sheriff. So the media says you kidnapped somebody, but
yeah, we kidnapped.
You were never anybody. But they didn't go after you for kidnapping. They did you for what? What was it? They
did me for burglary.
Taking
Nevada law.
Go explain it if you would, please.
Yes, I didn't burglarize anybody either. Yes, under Nevada law, if you enter a dwelling with the intent to commit a crime, you can be charged with burglary. Now, here's an interesting scenario that presents itself. A few years ago, there was a case in Reno where a guy in the car and a guy in a motorcycle got in a road rage situation. The guy in the motorcycle was able to get away from the guy in the car, but another guy got involved and he became an instant highway patrol trooper. And he chased this kid, whose name's Jared Faust, down into South Reno in the cul-de-sac. Now, this guy, Wayne, I can't remember his last name, got out of the car, he's armed, walked up to the car where Mr. Faust was and shot and killed him. Don't get me wrong, this guy deserves to be in prison. But in order to get an enhanced penalty on this guy, what the powers to be did is they said, when Mr. Wayne, whatever the hell his last name is, got out of the car, walked up to the vehicle and pointed his gun. The gun was an extension of his arm. The bullet exiting the chamber was an extension of the gun. The vehicle's parked could be considered a dwelling. And guess who was involved in that case? None other than Mr. Amos Stege and Barry Breslow. And the case got tossed back to the district court after Nevada Supreme Court said, oh, you can't, this is ridiculous. All they're trying to do is get an enhanced penalty because all they had was a road rage that turned into a homicide. So then the case was submitted back to the Supreme Court. I guess they decided, oh, we'll do that. We'll take your word for it this time. So if people don't understand that the judges and the cops and the attorneys, they're all in cahoots with each other, I don't know what to say anymore, Drew. I really don't, because you go up against a machine that has been operating in this way for a number of years. And my corruption foundation roots go back to 1999. So these people don't like me. They hate my guts. That's why I had to move from Reno, because I was sick and tired of getting followed and surveilled and screwed with. There's a guy on there that goes to, yes, we should. The Church versus Breslow. Barry Breslow, let's get something straight here. We have evidence, not conjecture or speculation, evidence to show that he's an invalid in his position because he doesn't have a bond as required by state law. Look it up. He doesn't have a valid oath of office, recorded commission, oath of office commission. Both of those are required to be a judge. Recently, we just found out that Mr. Breslow one time had a bar license in the state of Colorado. However, that bar license was withdrawn and he's prohibited from practicing law in the state of Colorado. I'm going to dig into that because that intrigues the hell out of me. There may be a possibility that Mr. Breslow pull the wool over Nevada State Bar, which is another useless entity, eyes when he became a licensed attorney here in Nevada. And of course, when you're in the good old boys club from Ohio State University Law School, you can be rest assured that somebody will give you a solid somewhere, like Brian Sandoval did to him. Brian Sandoval, you and I used to be friends. I think Brian Sandoval is just as corrupt as the rest of them. So this is the problem that you and I have discussed ad infinitum, ad nauseum. When you have a totally broken system, when you have cops disregarding laws, when you have attorneys not defending you or in cahoots with a prosecutor, when you have an incompetent, inept district attorney, and when you have invalid, corrupt judges, it's like getting to the boat deck of the Titanic at 2:15 saying, "Where are the lifeboats?" It's that disheartening and unbelievable. And this stuff continues. Look at you. Your situation happened to you not that long ago. My situation started back in 1999, and of course in 2019, it went from where I was before, which I thought was in an okay position, to now an ex-felon under probation, forced probation, by the way, trying to restructure my life and trying to go after these people. And I intend to. My parents taught me right from wrong, just like everybody else's parents, hopefully, that have done that. And I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't kidnap anybody. I didn't do any of the stuff. And people should understand also, Brew, you know, when you take a person that you supposedly kidnapped across state lines, what is that? It's called a federal offense. The FBI was involved in our case, but they dropped their involvement like a hot potato because they knew that the cops were in cahoots. But they cover each other, like you said. The thin blue line is it's a nightmare. It really is a nightmare. And I'm sorry you're going through what you're going through. I will continue to be vocal. I will continue to be outspoken. But they brought up some stupid analogy about train station. They also involved in the report said that my father had a guardian that was harassed. My father's been dead since 2006. I mean, it was a nightmare. And there's no documented or verified complaints, which under NIA law rules has to be put forth. But the judge didn't care. He wanted to see where he could go with this. And in support of Mr. Day, Mr. Day was able to adequately argue the legalities of this NIA hearing. And I was allowed to not be put in jail and go back to California, where I live now, and get the hell out of that shithole called Reno, Nevada, where I lived for 50 years, by the way. So I'm sorry for you living there. I'm sorry for the good people that live there. My only recommendation, strong suggestion, is find a different place to live and get the hell out of Dodge, because you're not going to fix that system unless DOJ comes in and just wipes the slate clean. And I don't see that happening right now. It'd be nice, but I don't see it happening.
Nope.
So we have fights to fight, bud. I intend to continue to fight mine. I have incorporated the services of a constitutional attorney out of Southern California. He's very good at what he does. Without saying what he's going to do, trust me, I believe he's going to do the right thing. I don't think any one of us has any ideas or notions that these people, these dirty cops, these dirty attorneys, these dirty judges will be perp walked in handcuffs and put in an orange jumpsuit. But I do believe the exposure will lead to undermining their financial stability in terms of civil actions. And that's the only way we're going to get them, bud. Go after them. Yep. And qualified immunity. Qualified immunity does not exist. People say, oh, they got qualified immunity. Cops got qualified immunity. No, they don't. If you violate your policies and procedures in any department in this country, your qualified immunity, whether your state has it or not, does not apply. And you could be sued personally. And that's what I'm going to do. Just like that big 6'5" Neanderthal goon behind you. He's going to get what's coming to him in terms of justice. And it's going to come. And he can't continue to bully people. Mr. Amos Stege. I hope he's listening, fat boy. I hope he's listening.
Oh, you know they listen to all the stuff that I put up. They're watching me. That's what was amazing. In your hearing, about you that has nothing to do with me. They're talking about me. Why the fuck are they talking about me in your hearing? The only way that you and I know each other,
because you're a threat to them,
is because you and I do stuff
You're a threat
we
to them
talk
'cause
about
you're
stuff on the internet. And so they don't like us now.
right?
And they're talking about
you know
me.
what? That's yeah. Your name specific in there. Yes, your name specific in the additional. Amos Stege want to put additional
in this piece of paper right here.
I got it. There it is. That's the one I sent you, right?
Yeah, this is the piece of paper.
Where is it? Numbers.
It's let's see here.
No contact with Drew Rebar, Renee Weiler, Drew Rebar, and Roger Hilgis. Yep. Well, dumbass, I can't contact Roger Hilgis, Amos Stege, because I had prohibited by Nevada law. Ex-felons can't communicate with each other. But isn't it amazing that your name and Renee Weiler, who's a friend of mine, they put that in there? They're so scared.
Yeah.
Why are they scared?
And Renee, she deals with law enforcement killing people. She's
right, and she's also very good. She's very good, Drew, at locating financial misgivings, which, by the way, we have on Mr. Breslow. Isn't that funny? Oh my God, it is a complex web of criminality, is what it is. And you know, I didn't fall off the turnip truck yesterday. I was caught for 30 years. I did my fair share of investigations. I never said I was the best at it, but I was diligent at doing my job. And you know, I pissed off the wrong people. Back when Dick Kirkland, Dick Gammon, all those little people run together, the little minions in that circle. They're all associated. Adam Laxalt. It's amazing that these people went to the lengths they did, and then covered up the homicide of Susan Hilgis, which is at the top rung of this ladder. She was murdered. Her sister, her darling daughter, was involved in this. Yeah.
The thing
all over money
brought into it.
All
yeah. But the thing that you've brought into it that I've found to be probably the most disturbing is the trafficking aspect, the house where they party, the swinging, all of the people that everybody seems to be sleeping with. And as I dig into it, there's a lot of government money going to what's called Our Center and all of these very liberal, sexual leaning causes that from the Department of Tourism at the state level, the local city of Reno paying these people, and a man named Bob Conrad of This Is Reno who's trying to get my videos taken down because he doesn't like me talking about him. So he files copy strike. Yeah, he is. I just got all the copyright strikes removed that he tried to file against my videos. So to me, what I'm seeing is this
I have a very
huge group of people that are promoting this sexual aspect funded with taxpayer dollars.
I just want to stand corrected. A very dear friend of mine is listening in. I sent her the link. She's basically saying that Renee is only involved with the mortgage audit fraud, which involves Mr. Breslow. She realistically doesn't have anything to do with murders, but she's been apprised of our case as well as others involving, because the corruption runs in the financial circuit as well. So yeah, what you say is true about the monies that go into that corrupt little city of Reno. They're all got their hand out. They all march to the beat of a different drummer. And people should understand that. I can't educate people any more than I have by speaking the truth. And it's amazing that the day after we rescued Mrs. Hilgis, they weren't concerned about finding her. Kidnapping. Oh, the former sheriff and their son. I went, what? Kidnapped his own mother? That's absurd. I had Deputy Chief Oliver Miller, who's another liar. Now he's, I'm sorry, Commander, now Deputy Chief Miller. Said, well, you kidnapped the mother. Excuse me, you're accusing me of kidnapping someone? No, I think I know the laws about kidnapping. And he goes, well, her son didn't have permission to take her. I go, well, isn't that odd, Ollie? that they went down to your department prior to us going to the home and rescuing Susan, and you said, per your minion, go get her. If the facility allows you to take her out, take her out. There was nothing legal that precluded Roger Hilgis from taking his mother out of there. But they sure made a way to shut her up now, didn't they? 2 months later, she's dead. They sure shut her up, didn't they? And
they did.
They crucified us, vilified us. Yeah,
there's Deputy Chief Oliver Miller. Get a bigger picture of him. So
I had some very strong. Yeah, he's a 3-star liar. I had some very strong professional relationships with the former chief, Jason Soto, him, and a few others. Tommy Robinson, actually. I'm kind of curious about that story because I know Tommy Robinson, known for over 25 years. I don't see that, because he was accused of doing some sexual stuff. I know Tommy. I just don't see that with him. It just doesn't make any sense. But these other minions, one of which, Mr. Soto, if you're listening in, yeah, we know all about your relationship with the mayor. So we'll leave that for another day. Yeah, former deputies tarnished all of our reputations. They vilified him. They crucified him. They evicted him before he's even allowed to make any defense, if he has one. I hope he does. I think he does, of his situation. It's just like us. I mean, the sheriff kidnapped this old lady and took her at gunpoint. I mean, God bless, to see the media, and I'm talking about you, KTVN, Channel 2 Reno, KRNV, Channel 4 Reno, KOLO, Channel 8 Reno, Bob Conrad.
Let me see if I can play this right here.
The Reno Police Department is working to rebuild community trust after the arrest of former Deputy Chief Tom Robinson. Robinson was one of 13 people taken into custody during a 2-day child exploitation sting earlier this month. Robinson.
So yeah, that's what happened to him.
Yeah, but see,
that's what they're saying.
This is when everybody believes it. Yeah, everybody believes it. Everybody believes it. And again, maybe I'm wrong with Tom. I've known him for a long time. He's the only guy from that department. When I was going through my stuff, I was at a seminar up at the Proctor Mills Community College. And he was the only guy that walked over and said, "Hey, how you doing, Stewart?" I go, "Tommy, this is a nightmare." And we talked for like 10 minutes until one of his subordinates came over. "Chief, I need to talk to you right now." Like, pull him away from me. I didn't want him and I to talk. And I looked at him. I go, "Yeah, dude, I see right through your little game here." Tommy goes, "Stay in touch." I said, "Okay." And of course, as time went by and things went out of control, I mean, I was trying to survive, Drew, just like you're trying to survive. Instead of rescuing Susan Hilgis, like cops are supposed to do, I mean, Bonnie and Clyde notwithstanding, Roger and I kidnapped his mother, took her across the state lines, and we got the FBI, the CIA, and the DEA, and every other 3-letter agency looking for us. They didn't care about that. All they cared about was, let's get that house sold. Somebody's going to get money, a lot of it. Darling daughter got 3% of that sale of that house. She's the one that caused the house to be. I think she's just as corrupt as the rest of them. I think she's just as corrupt. She's probably been. No, she's dumb as a box of rocks. Come on. I mean, I think she worked at Stockton, if I'm not mistaken. Another shining example of a California shithole. You can throw Fresno in there and a few other cities. Stockton is, every time you turn around, they're having homicides, just like Richmond, just like Oakland, just like all these big cities that don't have proactive police work anymore. They don't. Reno's just like it. They don't have proactive police work anymore. They respond to calls. They're not out there patrolling. It used to be when I was a state trooper, they had officers walking the beat in the downtown corridor.
They don't even respond to calls.
Potential aspect.
My shop in Reno kept getting robbed, and I'd put a police report online, and guess what? They never show up. They say, "Well, we'll just do it with a police report online. You turn it into your insurance company," and they don't show up. They don't do shit.
How can the public have any faith and trust in a police agency that's dirty? And I'm calling them out. They are dirty. They don't do their job. You drive around. Hey, look how good! Look how good I look in my car, man. I got my vest on. I got beard. I'm driving a car. I'm going to have coffee. I'm, whatever. I mean, just the image they're putting out there. Same with the Washington County Sheriff's Office. Okay, Darren Balaam failed. 5 specific field training officers, but Daddy Dennis Balaam saved his job with the assistance of Dick Kirkland, who, of course, is one of my number one nemesis. So yeah, but I'm qualified sheriff in there. There are reasons in there. It's because of people he was tied into. It's not because he's a great, wonderful, outstanding sheriff.
Well, who could run against him? He's coming up for re-election.
Should be nice to see somebody run against him that's a worthwhile cop. So it should be nice. I like to see somebody. But, once you're in that position, it's almost like trying to pull teeth from a rhinoceros. Unless you're out there raping babies in downtown Virginia on a Saturday afternoon, you're probably going to stay in there as long as you want because people, oh, yeah, he's been the sheriff. He's a good guy. Check the box, check the box, check the box. Yeah, that's what they do. They don't listen. I mean, the only reason Chuck Allen beat Tim Kuzanek is because Mike Haley, another corrupt sheriff, didn't do what the previous sheriffs had done. And that's at the 2 years before he was going to retire or leave, he puts his undersheriff in as acting sheriff. Well, then everybody equates that acting sheriff with the sheriff's position. And it's a real smooth transition. Haley didn't do that. So Chuck Allen had very solid name recognition, and Kuzanek did not. And Chuck Allen had a lot of stuff doing with the volunteer organizations, and he was the voice of the Nevada Highway Patrol. He was Trooper Chuck, and he beat him. But he didn't stick around. He only was there for 4 years, and he made mistakes too. I'm sorry, Chuck. You didn't do that good of a job. I'm sorry. We used to be very good friends, but a lot of my friends no longer associate with me because they view me as the black sheep of Nevada, so to speak. So that's okay. I wear that moniker very well. Sad because you don't have decent cops out there anymore. You don't.
Nope,
and until people realize that and understand, it is. And you have, that cop right there should have stopped him from committing that crime against you. But then you have this two-name captain. What's his name? Ben or whatever the hell it is, the bald-headed bastard up there. Said, well, my opinion, he didn't do anything wrong. Dude, your opinion doesn't count. It's what the Nevada law states as assault and battery. So your opinion is just like worthless. Okay.
Yeah. What is assault? You were a cop for 30 years. What is assault in Nevada? Did he assault me?
Assault is the action of going forward towards a person. Okay. So you're invading their personal space with the intent to commit a battery, which is unlawful touching. So that's why they always say assault and battery. You can have assault without the battery.
Right.
So actions going towards a person to endanger their safety, health and safety. That's assault. Actual touching is battery. So what he did was assault and battery. He actually touched you. That's unlawful touching. That's battery.
Well, that's what the picture
and the action of him putting
the picture showed the contact.
Yeah. Yeah. The picture. There's a crime right there that wasn't investigated. Gee, why is that? Well, because you're on the list of bad people, bad boy drill, and that are exposing these bad actors, whether it's cops.
So why do you think they fire a guy? Why do you think they fire a district attorney in the same day they find out that he's posting stuff about the Second Amendment and weapons, and posting his views on personal relationships, and posting stuff that's he's just saying stuff. He's not saying I'm going to hurt anybody. He's not whipping his junk out in public like that Cheng DA did. He's not approaching people and touching people. Why do you think they fired that DA in one day for his speech, but they let this guy get away with he gets away with?
I believe that they were aware of his stuff, and somebody finally said, hey, you might want to check so-and-so out because he's getting a little out there. And you have to You have to. I can't say that they are doing it, but you have to have some range of professionalism when you're a deputy district attorney, just like you have to have it with a cop. And you can't be out there scratching, yourself or doing unprofessional stuff when you're representing an agency or a department. And I believe this guy probably had been doing his postings for a while, just didn't pop up like that. They said, okay, we got to get rid of this guy in light of what happened to Mr. Ching. Because if they keep this guy, somebody says, hey, I told you about this guy about 4 or 5 weeks ago. You haven't done shit about him. So they were doing damage control. And so that's the only reason why I think, he cut off his own nose to spite his face. You got to be, I've never knew of any other than these two idiots before, any of these deputy district attorneys going out there and putting out whatever they're putting out on social media, which shows a disparaging light on them as well as the agency they represent. So, you got to understand that you put it out there. If you're representing someone, they're going to say, hey, doesn't that guy work for you? Yeah. Well, God, he's talking about, molesting farm animals and stuff. Oh. Or he's talking about abusing animals or abusing children. I mean, how many times recently in the news, Drew, have we seen law enforcement be involved in trafficking of children, violating people's civil rights, violating people's constitutional rights? I mean, there's time and time again on any social media platform that shows these
times a day.
And, the camera can't lie.
Many times a day.
I mean, unlawful, excessive use of force, shooting someone just because they want to shoot someone because they want to get their jollies off, which I'm sorry that has taken place. When they arrested Roger down in Southern California, they tased him 3 times in a row, which should have put his heart rhythm into a different arrhythmia, leading to cardiac arrest. Because as a former taser instructor, if you tase someone 2 or more consecutive times in a row, there's an 85% chance your heart will go into a different arrhythmia, which would lead to cardiac arrest. Same reason why they put him outside in the jail facility in a hot day, 100+ degree temperature, and he had a heat stroke, but heat exhaustion. They knew what they were doing out there. Just these cops just put the badge on and think they're bullies, just like that guy right there, that boy, Stege. He's a bully. He has a badge. He's allowed to carry a gun. He's no different than the guy, except he doesn't have a uniform. I don't know if we could find a uniform big enough to fit that fat tub of shit. But yeah,
there are some fat cops out there.
There's some fat cops out there too. And if you're going to go out there and represent your agency and you're proud of what you're doing, you're going to look good and you're going to act professional and you're going to abide by your department's rules and regulations as well as state laws and federal laws, which you are sworn to uphold and protect. But these cops nowadays, they don't get the proper training. If they do, it's real minimal. They just, a lot of these cops, Drew, at one point in their life were bullied. I believe it. And they slither through the background process. And somehow, some way, they make it through a portion of their career. Sometimes they don't, but sometimes, most of them, they do. And then all of a sudden, they start tripping up. They make mistakes. And that's what leads departments to start signing the checks for a lot of money. You are owed a lot of money for being hotboxed in the back of that car. A lot of money. That is it. That was unbelievable. I watched that video. I couldn't believe it. But Kenny Furlong is just as dirty as Darren Balaam.
Yep. We'll see what happens with all that. Actually, Kenny and I had a conversation here a month or so ago. It was we had a good conversation. Wasn't about anything to do with any of the lawsuits, but yeah. Anyways, that's for another day. I guess.
Kenny should have retired a long time ago.
Well, he's running again.
I'm sorry, Kenny. Yeah, I know. How many times? How long has he been in office now? A long time. I mean,
just so everybody knows who we're talking about. We're talking about Sheriff Kenny Furlong of Carson City, who's been in office for almost 20 to 30 years now. He's been there for a long, long time.
He's been there a long time. I remember when he was sheriff when I was a state trooper. So that's going back to the late. that is scary. In order for a department to continue to prosper and become a better agency, you can't have stagnation at the top ranks. It has to have turnover, and you keep having the same guys, the same position, like these sheriffs have been. I'm not going to bash Joe Arpaio, but God, he served 14 terms in Arizona. That's way too old. You don't need to be sheriff when you're 80-something years old. And Kenny Furlong has served his time a long time ago. Carson City does not have a very good reputation about gangs or drugs or criminal activity. It's bad. But everybody, conveniently overlooks that because, Kenny, well, you go check the box. Just like they'll probably do with Balaam when it comes time for him to run for sheriff again. I hope somebody has the courage and tenacity to run against him because it's time for him to go. It's time, and I don't know why they brought Catherine Nansen in, because Reno City Council, there it is. Reno City Council is a joke. Starting with the mayor, working her way down. We're all a bunch of idiots. And
there it is.
I've lived in Reno where I saw good Reno.
Kenny's held office since January 7th of 2003. So he's been there, 22 years now. So he'll be there 20.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was mistaken. 2003. So he's been there a while.
Yeah.
Has the community instilled any faith and trust in him? In terms of, you're doing a great job, Sheriff. Keep it up. I haven't heard. I haven't seen. So, you could have these cops that are in there. Now, there's a sheriff in Florida, Grady Judd, guys, and he's been like it is. And he's a good sheriff, and people love him. I'm not so sure the love is prevalent in Carson City with Mr. Furlong. And so when you don't have that support, why are you sticking around for? Just to collect a paycheck? No. Turn the reins over to somebody else. Maybe it's going to be a good decision. Maybe it's going to be a bad decision. But your time is over. Prefer sheriff over police. Yes, I agree, Mark, because they are elected and the people elect. That's one thing we process to put people in the positions that they're supposed to be in. Police, Nance was appointed to fill Mr. Soto's office. And so, she's from the outside. There's a couple other chiefs I think came from the outside. Jerry Hoover was one. There's another one, I can't remember his name. And they were decent chiefs. I have to say that. Hoover was decent. And the other police chief was decent. But then you look back at some of these other ones, like a Kirkland, like a Soto, who did not have the qualifications. He was a polygraph officer. He wasn't even a ranking member of the department. But because he's one of the Golden Boys, they made him acting chief and allowed him to get his credentials acting chief. A chief. Who gets that? Somebody must be putting somebody's bread somewhere. No, I couldn't get it. You couldn't get it. But he was connected. And so he got to be the chief.
Here's a question
and
for
isn't
you.
Isn't that funny? Who's wonder what the difference between a U.S. Marshal and a Ranger, depending where you're at. A Marshal is feds. A Ranger can be a federal officer on federal land. There's Rangers in Nevada that are out. Texas Ranger. Texas Ranger is a state position in Texas. So they're kind of like maybe a little bit step above the Texas Highway Patrol or Texas Department of Public Safety. They normally wear civilian attire. They have cowboy hats and the Texas Rangers go back a long ways. So they're like what do I want to use an analogy? They're like an investigative unit as a law enforcement agency in the state of Texas. They're not out there doing traffic stops. They're involved in the apprehension of fugitives and putting together criminal cases. But they're not, not road cops per se. They do certain things, I believe, in conjunction with other road cops, if you want to use that term. But they're an investigatory agency in the state of Texas. So I hope that answers your question, Mark. So here we are. December 9th, 2025, another podcast of yours, which I thank you for allowing me to come on and speak my mind again. Where I'm going to
hopefully they don't come and arrest you and put you up on charges because we talked again.
I don't give a crap. Let them try. They are cyber stalking me. If you watch the video, this another minion, Amos's little troll, John Gary, says, "Oh well, was brought to our attention about some of Mr. Hante's posts. So we have what does he say? We're keeping an eye on him now. Now, don't you find that odd? Because the only people who should keep an eye on me, truthfully, are the California Department of Parole and Probation here, and the Department of Probation there, which of course put together a rating violation report. So Kyle Sutton's this threat analyst, that's what he calls himself. But he's is it going to go anywhere? Probably not.
Yeah. Anyways,
well, it's a paper trail. And so when it comes time to put your sorry, I didn't mean to take up the whole time, brother, but
you're good. No, this is about you, not me this time.
My mind.
I can turn this thing on.
I just want people to know that. Trust but verify. Trust but verify. And,
that's right.
And if some cop approaches you, make sure you know your rights. Like what they did to you. Make sure you know your rights. A lot of people out there don't. So God bless and happy holidays.
That's the challenge. Our education system doesn't teach children what the Constitution says that their rights are. So you got to go outside of the school system to educate yourself.
Correct. And we're educating ourselves, but as you well know, you and I both have targets on our back.
Yep. They're watching me. They're watching you. They've said so. And well, they know about all my videos when they go into court because they're trying to get me and they're trying to get you. So I don't wish anybody harm. I wish everybody good.
Bring it.
I just wish everybody to have equal justice under the law and the same constitutional rights across the board, regardless of ethnicity, gender, whatever thing you want to bring up. Everybody should be equal under the Constitution and the law. And that's the problem is we don't have that.
I want to applaud you on your new I want to applaud you on your new business venture. I think it's going to do very successful. Very successful.
Thank you.
You do great work, and everybody out there in social media land should know that.
Yeah. So anyways, what he's talking about is I started a little business, and it's called Rebar Media. Let's see here if I can put it up here. So yeah, rebarmedia.com. And essentially all that I do is if you've got a small business, you got a big business, you're a politician, whoever, and you want to grow your social media presence, I can help you do that by the same thing that I did to grow mine. So anyways, go check it out and I can help you if you want.
And you've done very well.
Yeah. So because right now I've got, in the last 90 days, I've had about 104 million views between all my social media. And yeah, 104 million views in 90 days. So I think that's a huge number. And I can help other people try to get to the same thing. Oh, here, hang on. Let's see.
Well,
we got I got a lover. I got somebody that loves me here. I like how tow
truckers need to learn English.
How truck drivers need to learn English now. Yes, indeed. So anyways,
you want a job in California?
Yeah. In case you didn't know, I've got a towing company. It's for sale, so I'm well aware of the lack of English speakers driving big trucks down the road, making it very dangerous. Because when you go ask them what's in their load after they've driven it off the road, and they can't tell you what's in there, and they don't know how much it weighs because they can't read their bill of lading. These people that don't speak English are really, really dangerous. I've had personal experience dealing with them. Anyways, that's a whole other thing. Bad. No. But I think it's I think we're gonna have this here and
appreciate the time.
Yeah, get us going. So everybody, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you a little